Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Dawal. I'm the product manager with QNAP. Joined with me is Daniel,
Yeah, I'm our technical account manager at QNAP.
and we just want to welcome you all to the new exciting webinar for the first of 2025, our new feature, which is the Hybrid Backup Center. This is the app. This is a new cloud-based application to centrally manage all your backup jobs and sync jobs from HBS with multiple different NASs. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Daniel, and we can get it started.
Which click. Yeah, so what is Hybrid Backup Center? As a cloud-based central management system, you can manage multiple instances of Hybrid Backup Sync across multiple NAS, and that means you can do backup jobs, restore jobs, sync jobs across multiple NAS from one interface. So if data can make different hops from NAS 1 to NAS 2 to NAS 3 to NAS 4. You can just set up the whole way, all those hops from one location. It's not just easier to set up, but it's a whole lot easier to monitor, manage, see if there's any problems. So why Hybrid Backup Center? It helps a lot, especially with the 3-2-1 backup strategy, which is commonly used, which is 3 copies of your data, 2 storage media, 1 offsite. And that's because when you have these multiple copies of your data, you likely have multiple QNAP NAS with multiple instances of HBS3. So in this example, you have your PC backing up to the NAS, virtual machines backing up, folders syncing over, and Office 365 backing up through our BoxSafe app. But because we're doing the 3-to-1 backup strategy, we're not just sticking it on one NAS and calling it good. This NAS backing up to that NAS, maybe backing up to that NAS, this NAS backing up to the cloud. And as you see here, there's 4 instances of Hybrid Backup Sync running. And so one interface to manage all 4 can be useful. So why do we do this? It helps with the pain points of the 3-to-1 backup strategy. The more NAS you add, the more cumbersome this can be. And the IT manager will typically have to log into multiple NAS multiple times to just follow the flow of the data from like NAS 1 to NAS 2 to NAS 3. And maybe there's more NAS involved. And the logging in and logging out to track all the backup jobs from source to final destination can get cumbersome. So here's a picture with HBS3 without Hybrid Backup Center. So just log into each NAS individually. The first scenario, let's just pretend all the folders on each NAS only goes to one destination just to make it easier. So log into this NAS, see the data goes to that NAS, then log into this NAS, see the data goes to that NAS, then log into this NAS, see the data goes to that NAS. Okay, it doesn't seem as complicated. But now let's imagine, what if different folders go to different NAS? So you log into this NAS, see it goes here, log in here, see it goes there. But now folder 2, so log into this NAS again, see the data goes here, log into this NAS, see that data goes here, then go back here again, log into folder 3, see it goes directly here, and that can get more cumbersome. And you got to keep logging into all these NAS to just keep verifying that there's no problem in any hop from one NAS to the other, always checking from source to final destination. It can get more cumbersome with 4 NAS and even more cumbersome with 6 NAS and even more cumbersome with 10 NAS. And so this is why we made Hybrid Backup Center, to make something a lot easier than that. So here's the typology in Hybrid Backup Center. So you can see all your NAS, up to 10 NAS, and see where everything's going. So this is just a picture of 2 NAS, but you can see the data goes from NAS A to NAS B, and then from NAS B go to these different clouds. But imagine you had more NAS. You'd be able to see data goes from here to here, then to there, then to there, then to there. Just see everything from one location. What's even better is it's color-coded. So green is success, there's warning, error. So just from one screen, not only can you see where the data goes, you can see if there's any warnings, errors. You see everything you need right away to basically know if there's any problems. And that's really helpful. You can create the jobs here, not just from one destination to the other, but to all the hops to the final destination, create it from one location. There's logs. So it really provides what you need to make this a whole lot easier.
And going back to the pain points, the other, as Daniel mentioned, you need to go ahead and log into each NAS. So imagine you need to log in to so let's say if your IT admin is not local to each NAS, he's remotely or he's on a different location. So he needs to go to MyQNAP Cloud, log into the NAS, and then open up Hybrid Backup Sync, and then check the data, right? So if the jobs are running, he needs to set up a new job. He needs to go through all that process again. Now that is just for one NAS. Now if he needs to log into another NAS, he needs to go through the MyQNAP Cloud, log out from the other NAS, log back into the second NAS, go through Hybrid Backup Sync, check the jobs. Now, if he just wants to check the job, like because every backup is critical, right? So you have to make sure that all your backup jobs are running smoothly and there's no error. So right, currently there was no single page that could show you all the backup jobs from all your NASs running together, right? So with Hybrid Backup Center, you can now track every single job from each of your NASs and ensure that everything is running smoothly. So you can centrally manage and monitor all your backup jobs. So the IT admin job is now really simple. He just have to log into one interface and he can check every single backup job that he has set up. And not only you can set up the backup jobs, or you not only can monitor the backup jobs, but you can also set up backup jobs between multiple NASs. So if you have, let's say, 4 or 5 NAS, and you want to set up a new backup job, let's say to NAS 1 to NAS 2, or even NAS 2 to cloud. Now, the only thing he has to do is go to Hybrid Backup Center, log into, just open up the application and then just set up a new backup job to any of your 5 NAS that you have. So you can manage and you can track everything from a single page, and you don't need to, and then you can also check what is going on with all your backup jobs as well.
So to go back here, this is great for any customer that has multiple NAS, just makes it easier. And it's also great for an MSP. So maybe you make one account for each customer to manage all your customers' NAS, and should make it just a lot easier to set up, troubleshoot, and see what's going on. So what this offers is central management to centrally manage backup and sync jobs, schedule multiple backup tasks, and restore jobs. Monitor the status of each job, and a great visual topology. Just one look, and you can just see what's going on really quickly. So getting started, you need Hybrid Backup Sync version 25 or above. I mean, that's not hard. Go to the App Center, download Hybrid Backup Sync. It should be the most up-to-date version. And MyQNAP Cloud Link has to be enabled for your NAS because this is cloud-based centralized management, and it's MyQNAP cloud-based. QLink is needed. So to do that, you have to register your NAS with MyQNAP Cloud, create a QID. So, it just means you register your NAS. From the MyQNAP Cloud app on your NAS, you register as a wizard. It's not hard. And then enable MyQNAP Cloud Link. Install Hybrid Backup Sync, the latest version, which it should just be the latest version by default. So HBC it should then just work once you've added your NAS to MyQNAP Cloud and have QLink enabled. You add your NAS to HBC using your QID, and the HBC agent should install in your NAS automatically, but you are free to manually do so as well. And then you can create these backup and sync jobs and manage it. So just a few limitations. Need an up-to-date version of Hybrid Backup Sync. Supported languages are English and Chinese. Max says 10 NAS per organization. Now, if you're an MSP, that's probably not a problem because you're going to want a different account for each customer. So if you have 100 customers, no big deal. But it's 10 NAS per user / organization. Token expiration date. So it is important that at least every 90 days you log in here and check or manage something, because if you leave it alone within 90 days, your NAS will have to be re-entered. And it does not support two-step verification in this current version. It does not support China, and it does not support job file history CSV download. Now, there's great logs, but we don't have the CSV download for Hybrid Backup Center. and it does not support create restore file from job. What this means is if you have to relink a backup job, you don't relink a backup job from Hybrid Backup Center. But it's okay. You just go to Hybrid Backup Sync and relink the job. So Hybrid Backup Center could do almost everything, but if you've deleted a sync job or deleted a backup job, you have to relink a job. You relink it directly from Hybrid Backup Sync. But once it's relinked, it shows up in Hybrid Backup Center. So you can still manage this fine, but relink is done directly from Hybrid Backup Sync. So now over to the vault for a live demo.
All right, so let me open up the new application. So let me share my screen again. All right, so the application is, as I mentioned, or as Daniel mentioned, is cloud-based application. Again, it's a beta version, so so if you do find some issues or if you want to have some features that you want on this particular application, feel free to contact our support and have them submit a support ticket, and we can take a look at it at that as well. But it's go to hbc.qnap.com and then just click on sign in. Now you need to log in via your My QNAP Cloud ID, and then once you sign in, you'll be noticed or you'll be greeted with a dashboard that shows all your backup jobs from last few days. If there is any errors or if there is any or successful backup jobs, you can also see alert logs. For example, if there's any jobs with errors, if there's any NAS that you cannot connect to, just goes to all how many backup jobs you have currently set up, how many are in warning, how many are currently running, and how many NASs have you added with any errors or warnings or anything offline as well. And then also targets. So these are where the backup jobs are going to. For example, it could be the cloud, it could be another NAS, it could be an external hard drive as well. Now, the main feature would be the topology. This is a topology. This is my topology, but this could be your topology where all the backup jobs, where are each of them running? And you can just quickly, if you want to organize it, just drag and drop. Now, this link means that there is a backup job between these two targets. So you cannot, this is automatically generated. So, but you can now, just move around if you want to organize it much better than or however you want it to organize. So once you have that, and then you can click on save, you can zoom in, you can zoom out, and then you can just click on full screen. So just everything is set up. So this is the topology. This is a quick way to show you what's running on your NAS, and this also shows you direction of the NAS as well. Where the job is going to, like the direction is from the arrow. So this job is running from this NAS to this cloud storage. So something similar as that as well. If you go to NAS, this is where you can add all your NAS as well. Now, the good part about HBC is it's not only monitoring the backup jobs, but you can also use this tool to monitor your NAS as well. You can see the storage capacity that's being used to store, how many storage pools you have, how much it's being used. You can also check the disk, the system health, the disk health as well, and how many adapters you have connected. And if you go to monitor, you can see the CPU utilization, the memory utilization, the network throughput, the disk throughput as well. So when you're tracking, or if there's any, so for example, right, this could be a small tool that you can actually use. So if the backup job is running, if the backup job is running slow, you can actually monitor that NAS to see if there's any high CPU utilization, memory utilization, or the network is saturated or disk throughput is saturated. What is causing this issue as well? You can also track that in this particular screen. And if you go to targets, this is where your storage pool information will be provided. And you can go to each of these NAS and you can check for any issues or anything like that. I'll also show you how to add a NAS, but I'm just going to quickly go through some screens first. Backup and sync is where all your backup jobs that you have set up from all your NASs. So as I mentioned, it's not just for one NAS. You can see the backup jobs from all your NASs and then where exactly it's going to. So from which NAS to which location it's going through, when was it last run, and what is the next run. So if it's on a schedule basis, you can see what's the next job that's going to start running. You can also actually click on this button to run a backup job immediately. So if you want to run this backup job right now, you can just click on this run now. You can also click on it to get you more details on the last run information. So how many files it transferred on the last backup job run and the file size transferred as well. And you can click on details to get more information about the modified jobs or modified size, new file sizes, all of this information to get more details about each backup jobs. Um, and then you can also click on history and logs to find out if there's any errors, why was that error and what, and then you can actually go through each of these and you can click on action to check the logs for that particular job. So you can actually go more details on what's going on and you can see the event logs, when was it started, if it was successfully finished, if there was any errors, you can find that here as well. You can also edit the backup job. So this is a backup job that's going from one of my NASs to a Google Drive account. So what folders have I synced? So you can actually edit, you can add multiple folders. Also, that if you wanted to add another folder for this backup job, you can easily click on edit, add another folder, select and add another folder on the target, and then also add that as well. This is one of my Google Drive accounts. So it's going to connect to Google Drive. It's going to show my information. I can click on that and click on select, and it's going to add that folder now. You can also go to schedule. You can change the schedule as well. And you can also you can also enable data integrity check. You can also set up versionings, and you can go to settings. You can see if you want to change data compression information. You can set up rate limits where this job can run at certain speeds, not use unlimited bandwidth available to it. You can also filter by file sizes. You can exclude by modification date, and also you can go to advanced settings to enable integration with QU-WAN. QUDD we cannot enable or disable once it's set up. So that is something that's running as well. Now, this backup job is running. You can see what's going on with this backup job. It's running, so as I mentioned. So you can go to history and you can see what happened. So there was an error here. So it's waiting for this job to complete to give you more information. So again, more detail on what's going on, how much % has been completed. And you can click on details to see what's going on, how long has this been backup job running. The total file size has been transferred. So all of these details, you can find that on a single screen as well. And then if there was this warning, what was the warning about? So if I go to history, I can check. So I can check that the cloud space wasn't in, so it was insufficient cloud space. So this cloud that I'm running backup job to does not have enough space to move that. So that's why the warning is. So I can now check my QNAP cloud. I can add more storage to it so that this backup job can run in the future. So again, more detail on what's going on for your NAS. Now, if you want to go a restore job, you can start a restore job as well. So these are my backup jobs. So which job I want to restore from. So I can select one of these, let's say for Google Drive, I can select that. The original location, so the job knows is from this NAS to this Google Drive. So I want to restore this to a new location, or I can restore this to original location. And the source folder is where my public folder is. Now, if I have multiple versions of the same backup job, I can select which version. I can select the time of that version. I can see and I can select which folder or file that I want to restore. I can restore all of this, or I can restore just certain file and click on restore and click on next. Or I can just say restore job. Hit next, and I can see so it can also tell conflict policy. So if there's a same name file existed, I can click on I can select rename this file, overwrite this file, or skip this file. Again, so if you've done a restore job on hybrid backup sync, it's the same exact way to restore as well. I hit next, I can click on restore, so I can quickly restore a particular folder or file if needed as well. I can also go to job activities. I can see where all the jobs that are running in a single page from all my NASs as well. So, and I can click on targets to see what are my targets, my cloud drives, my other NAS, all of that as well. And just logs, these are logs from all my NASs as well as Hybrid Backup Center as well. All right, so this is just a quick overview of Hybrid Backup Center. Now I'm going to show you how to add a NAS. So first of all, let's say if this is a new NAS. I can log into my NAS. Now this is a brand new NAS, but the only thing I need to make sure that I have Hybrid Backup Sync installed in the NAS already. Once I have done that, go to apps, go to App Center, and then go to My QNAP Cloud, and then you need to sign in with your My QNAP Cloud ID. So I'm already signed in. I'm going to click on Continue. Now I can name the NAS. I can click on Join Organization. So I need to make sure that I join an organization. I can select Organization. Now you can set up organization by going to organization.qnap.com. This is for MSPs who have multiple different customers that you want to set up. Like I can set up multiple customers on my organization here, so I can track different customers from different sites. So I can click on Create Organization. You can say customer 2. You can select location if it's on internationals. You can select size if you wanted to as well. I can create admin groups so they can control adding other people or just regular users to monitor. I can invite other administrators as well. And once I've done that, click on finish. So this is customer 2. I already have my organization, so I'm going to select that. So see, customer 2 is popped up already here. Now I can click on organization, my DP organization. I can select different sites. So we are in Pomona, so I'm just going to select Pomona. But you can create different sites to keep it more simple for you. Once I've selected the site, hit next. If you want to monitor your NAS through MS Cloud, just enable this feature and click next, and just enable my QNAP Cloud link and apply. All right, so this is how simple it is to set up the QNAP NAS first. Now, if you go to Hybrid Backup Center, you go to NAS and click on Add. See, the NAS is already here because I joined my organization. So I can select that, enter username and password. Now, if you are setting this up for the first time, you can actually select multiple of these, enter username and password for each of them, and then you can click on Add. All right, so it's registering the NAS. Now, on the QNAP NAS, it should start installing the hybrid HPC agent. Now, this is just a troubleshooting step in case if you're having some issues adding the NAS, you may want to install this HPC app manually as well. So just for HPC, and then you can see the HPC agent. There'll be an install button right here. Click on install and then try to add it as well. This is just a troubleshooting step that I wanted to show you in case if you need to. Now, this NAS is added. There's no backup jobs that are running. Now, let's say if you want to set up a new backup job on that particular NAS. So I can select either backup job or sync job. Let's say if I want to select a backup job, I can select new NAS. I can select which NAS you want to backup from. And then you can now, so if all of these NASs are in a single location, you can actually select between multiple. So these all of my NASs are actually on the same network. So I can select another NAS on the same network, and it's going to start creating target on this particular NAS. So see, I can now add it. Now I can click on browse. I can select the public folder on my NAS 1. I can select the folder, the destination folder on the second NAS. And the best part is it can show you the size of the destination folder. What's the maximum size of that folder, and how much is available. So that's another feature as well. So you can keep track of how much data you have available to back up to. Once you have selected the folder, hit next. And now you can set up a schedule. So you can set up manual. So you can have to go here and every time run the backup job. You can set up one time, weekly, monthly, and then you can set up run after as well. Let's say if I want to run this job every week on these dates, I can select that. I want to job 1 in the morning, select that. That's it. Hit next. I can select versioning if you want to set up versioning. Hit next. I can set up the client side encryption. This is where if you want to encrypt the data on the client side, just enter the password. Remember that if you forget this password, you lose access to all your backup data as well. So make sure that you understand the risks. And you can set up unlimited rates as well. So bandwidth, again, this is bandwidth. If you want to set up maximum bandwidth or set a certain bandwidth, you can set up that as well. Now, if it's the same operating system, let's say, for example, if it's going from QTS to QTS, QTS to QTS, you can replicate the ACL permissions as well, but it does not support replicating permission between different operating systems. So because the main NAS is QTS and the destination NAS is QTS Hero, it does not support that. But if it's the same NAS, you can set up replicate permissions as well. You can also set up file permissions, filter settings as well. And the advanced setting enable QUDD for deduplication. I can also set up network interface to which interface, and it will show you if you have multiple interfaces on the NAS, and one is dedicated to backups only, you can set up that as well. But I'm going to select default route and hit next and click on create. That's how simple it is to create a backup job. And it's going to ask you, do you want this, because it's a new backup job, you want to run it right now? I can say yes or no. And it's going to start that new backup job. It's going to start backing up the data on that new NAS. If I go back to my topology, I can see the new NAS is already added to my topology, and you can see that backup job is running and the direction of it. And since I have the backup job running from this NAS to this cloud, when the new data is synced, it's going to start backing up immediately to the cloud data as well. This is one of the backup jobs I had set up as well. So it's cloud synced. This is also another example. So that's another great feature as well that you can set up as well. Another thing I have set up is 3-2-1 backup job. So this is my main NAS. I have set up a USB backup job from this NAS to the USB drive. I also set up another backup job from this NAS to this NAS, which is my second NAS. And for my third and offsite copy, I've set up a backup job to my QNAP cloud storage. So it's going, so you can see my 3-2-1 backup strategy. One is USB drive. The second is my on-site NAS, and then for offsite is a cloud storage. So you can set up that and you can see what's going on, and then that's how quickly you can set up a backup job. So I hope that this is a quick demo, but I just want to go through some basic information about hybrid backup sync. It's really a simple application. It's really easy to use. If you have been using hybrid backup sync, it's the same exact feature set. There's nothing much new here. The only thing is just monitoring everything at a single location, and you can see the topology, and you can manage multiple backup jobs from a single NAS. All right, so back to you.
I mean, I don't have too much more to add, except that I just want to mention that from your MyQNAP Cloud account, where it shows all your NAS, you can also get to HBC from there. It may not be the way you do it, but I think it's pretty good, and very excited about this feature. Do you think we should go into some questions?
Yeah, so we're gonna have some. I'm gonna open this chat up with Q&A. So if you guys have any questions regarding the application, just I'm gonna open the application on my side so we can go through. So we can go through any kind of questions you have. I have one question from Bill. Does the remote NAS need a static address, or it can punch through a firewall and NAT to a master unit? Or can it be controlled from the master location? So if the currently the hybrid backup sync requires a port to be open. So you have to open up 8899 port on your router to be able to do a backup job to the remote NAS. So it has to go through a firewall to be able to. You don't need to set up a static addressing. You still have my QNAP Cloud DDNS, which is a free feature, and you can back up that using my QNAP Cloud DDNS. So you just enter the DDNS IP address, DDNS address for the second NAS or your offsite NAS. You can back up that, but we can back up that as well.
And of course, there's plenty of options, like you can do site-to-site VPN, so the NAS can back up to each other, and then you would not have to forward that port. Or
You can also set up Tailscale as well, which is a free VPN application between two NASes, and it is available as a free feature as well. So you can set up VPN between both NASes, so you can avoid opening ports. Of course, we recommend not to open ports, so you can just set up a VPN connection between both NASes, and you can set up the backup job through the VPN without having, and it's a secure connection, encrypted connection as well. All right, so we still have only one question. So you guys have any further questions? Just we can keep this line open for at least 2 more minutes. If not, no further questions. Thank you all for joining our webinar. But let's keep this open for 2 more minutes. Any further questions is welcomed here. So another question is, Sergey, is if both NAS are on the same network, does the backup flow uses only this network? So if both NASs are on the same network connection, it's going to choose the best networking path through your network. So it's just basically so this is a cloud-based application, right? The data is not going through the cloud. It goes directly between both NASs through the best connection possible, right? It could be switch, it could be router, depending upon how your networking setup is. This cloud-based application is just to show you the information about the backup job, right? But it's not going to grab any data. Everything is still local only. It's going to select the best path available. Even if you do a cloud backup job, it's going to select the best network speeds of the cloud location. So yeah, so that is it.
I don't think I have too much more to say, but yeah, I guess what we're saying is that Hybrid Backup Center, it's setting up the backup job. So QLink is needed so the NAS can connect to Hybrid Backup Center. Hybrid Backup Center sets up the backup job. So it uses QLink to set up the job. Or I should say MyQNAP Cloud Link, but the data is not going through MyQNAP Cloud Link. So if you have a VPN connection to the NAS, it'll go through VPN. If they're on the same local area network, it's just local network. The whole reason for QLink here is really just for setting up the backup jobs and receiving data on the backup jobs.
I think Juan has raised his hand, but before I can move on, or I can answer his question, I need to also answer the second part of Sergey's question regarding details about how sync works. So the main difference between backup and sync is sync backup job allows you to do deduplication as well as versioning, and then so if you want to restore, you need to have some QNAP application or QNAP NAS to be able to restore the data. But a sync job is just one-to-one copy between both devices. So if you want to set up a sync job, you just click on sync job and you just say sync NAS1 to NAS2 or whatever you want to name it as. And you can select like NAS1 direction to, let's say, NAS2. The good part about sync job is you can do a two-way sync job, one-way sync job, or active sync job. So two-way means that any data uploaded from NAS1 to will be uploaded to NAS2, and if you do any uploads on NAS2, it goes back to NAS1. So both data on both NASs are in sync. The only thing you need to remember is that if you delete something, it gets deleted from each NAS. So it's not a backup job, it's actually basically a sync between both devices. So ensure that you understand that data may be deleted between both devices. One-way sync job is where it's going to send from NAS1 to NAS2. Active sync is where you can actually grab data from NAS2 to NAS1. Now, active sync job is where if you have a non-QNAP device. could be another third-party NAS or a third-party FTP server or SMB server. You can grab data between that. Even a Windows computer that does not have a sync application, you can set up a active sync job from Windows SMB server, or you have to just set up an SMB share and you can start grabbing data. So that's active sync job, grabbing data. But one-way sync job is just one simple NAS1 to NAS2. So I can now, again, it's the same thing I was referring to before. You can set up paired folders. And you can set up multiple paired folders if you want to set up multiple in the same backup or sync job. You want to set up multiple paired folders. You can do that as well.
So to nuance my last answer, I said QLink is for receiving data about the backup job, but I should not have used the word data because I think it might confuse people. QLink is for receiving information about the backup job, but it's not for receiving the data that you're backing up in this case. And so that, yeah.
All right, perfect. Another important feature that Sync provides is real-time synchronization. So if you enable this, it's going to start syncing the data immediately and it's going to keep syncing. So as soon as you upload something, it will just start syncing that data. It's not going to wait for any kind of schedule. It's going to start syncing and it's going to keep syncing the data. So you can set up that on a sync job as well. Again, remember, there's no, you can see there's no, sorry, I was mentioning about the deduplication and versioning because it's a sync job. It does not support all of that features. And you can select next. You can you can click on create. It's going to start syncing the. You can click on yes. It's going to start syncing. Since it's real time, it's going to keep syncing the data. And if you look at the topology, it's going to keep syncing the data, and it's not going to wait for any kind of sync job. So see, because there are two jobs. Remember, I set up a backup job as well as I set up a sync job. You can click on this button, plus button. It's gonna show you two jobs. So right here, I have 4 jobs from one NAS to the same NAS. It's gonna show you 4 different jobs that you have. So that's important. So hopefully, Sergey, I was able to answer the sync job question as well. Now I think Juan had a question before, but he has. I do not see a raised hand, but GW has his hands raised or her hands raised. Do you want to unmute yourself to ask a question, or you can ask a question on the Q&A part? I see a question on chat. What is the price after the beta? Right now, there's no pricing structure for hybrid backup sync. It's supposed to be a free application, just like MS Cloud, just like other free application that we provide, like Q Center. So there's no pricing structure decided for this particular HPC application. All right, I'm hoping that I was able to answer that question. Can you backup VMs? So right now it's just HBS. So it's not gonna show you VM backup information, but you are able to backup VMs using this application. I'm sorry.
Oh,
yeah,
Hyper Data Protector.
Hyper Data Protector. So this application, you can install that on your NAS to back up your VMs. Now, can you restore one file or a full computer? Now, if you back up a VM or like a VM for VMware or Hyper-V, which is this application is able to do, it's a license-free application. Unfortunately, you cannot restore a file. You have to restore the whole VM. Now, this application also supports Windows backup as well. Now, if you do a Windows backup, again, it's a free Windows backup like other application like Acronis or any other application that you pay a fee for, but this is a free application. If you do a Windows backup, you can definitely restore a single file instead of restoring the whole computer. But it will be an image level backup that's available as a free of cost from QNAP. But again, this application is controlled separately. It's not going to be able to integrate that on this hybrid backup center application. But again, yes, you can do a VM backup or Windows computer backup as well. All right, we keep this open for 2 more minutes since we had a few more questions. So QNAP minimum requirement is 5 dots. So yeah, the new application does require 5.x app firmware. So please keep that in mind as well. Oh, sorry, get had updated. What is lowest requirement QNAP OS version? Yeah, so as GW mentioned, is actually 5.x firmware, which is required to be minimum. When will the available two-factor authentication? Currently, I don't have an ETA, but I'm hoping as the beta version is finished, you are able to, the two-factor should be available after the beta release. And then since it's a beta version, you can download, you can go here. Again, as I mentioned, Juan, there's no pricing structure available. I don't think this will be a paid application. As of now, there's no plan for paid application. So this should be available as a free application, just like Amis Cloud, just like other applications that we have. Q Center is another application. It remained free after the beta, so I think this should be available as a free application as well. So currently there's no pricing structure for this application. Also, another thing I wanted to note as well is since this is a beta application, you have a chance to win a free NAS, a free 216 TS-216G. The test period will last until February 25th. It's not an official release date. It's just it'll be available later on. But you can participate using by installing this application and installing just going through this particular step. I'm gonna send you a follow-up email with a recording of this video as well as the steps on how to join this giveaway. And then we hope to get more feedback for this particular application, and yeah, and you have a chance to win a free NAS. So that's something to look forward for. All right, looks like no further questions. So I would like to thank everyone to spending some time with us and learning about a new application. We are really excited about this application. It was a really requested feature, and we hope to get more feedback from you guys and be a lookout for a follow-up email on about this application as well as how to join this giveaway or this the 216 how to win a free 216 G NAS. But again, if you have any further questions, you can always respond or email us as usasales@qnap.com. We'll be able to answer all your questions as well. If you want to set up another demo of this application, you can always request another demo. Or if you want a demo for any other features or any other information that you request, you can always email us and we'll be happy to assist you with that as well. And if you want to talk to us or get some information or consultant, or if you need consultant about our features and softwares, you can always email us as well. And with that in mind, thank you everyone for joining our webinar, and hopefully you guys have a great rest of the day.